Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome back. I hope you're doing good. I am doing a tag video today. This is the end of year tarot tag. It was created by Chanel at Spirited Stardust, who I highly recommend you checking out her channel. If you are not already familiar, I will of course tag her and tag her original video below for this tag. But I'm just going to get straight into it. It's a few questions about sort of wrapping up the tarot year. So first of all, prompt number one, what is the deck that you used the most? And I had to really think about this because there's a few that came to mind, but I landed on Tarot of the Crystal World. And I was caught between this and the Terra Volatile, which I got right at the start of the year and immediately fell in love with. But I think, although I love that deck, I think I used this one more for the pure fact that this goes in my bag a lot. This is often the deck that I take out and about with me. I think it's a really good reader. I just really like using it. Whereas the Terra Volatile, the imagery is a fair bit like darker in a lot of the cards, and it's a bit less palatable for a lot of people, so this is often one that travels with me and I do really love it, and I've used it a lot for myself as well, so I think this one takes the title, and it is just gorgeous. This was a Kickstarter deck, and I believe that he is selling copies of the deck. I will try and link below if they're available to buy anywhere, because I think it's a really cool deck and I highly recommend it. This one might be a nice quick one, you know. I mean, I say that, but it might be. Okay, prompt number two, what is a deck that you didn't use at all? And for me, that is the Thoth, Crowley's Thoth Tarot. I pulled this out for like reference. You'll see that it's in, I think it said alphabetical order, just in order, because yeah, like I said, I pulled this out for reference quite a lot, especially recently with the Deccan Walk, which I've picked back up on, so I use it in that sense, but I have not used this for a reading because I have not been studying the Thoth system this year. It's one of my goals for next year. I have a lot of goals for next year. I might do a video on my like tarot 2024 goals, New Year's resolutions, that sort of thing. Would that be interesting? I might do it anyway. Regardless, this year I have not been studying the Thoth, so I have not used it to do a reading, although I have pulled it out to look at the artwork. But yeah, it's a pretty straightforward one. I haven't read it. I intend to. Alright, prompt number three, most recent edition. That one is in this lovely floral bag because it's a Make Playing Cards deck and it came without a box. And it is the Naturescapes. I've had this on my radar for quite some time. I know that Laura at Aquamarine 18 Tarot and Books really likes this deck. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Yeah, I've had this on my radar for ages. I think it's really beautiful. I love the range of, like, first of all, I love a skyscape, so I love a lot of these cards which are just like sky and clouds. And I also love a tree canopy, and I think like this is kind of a tree canopy. There are a few of those in here as well. And it's a really, like, I love this Emperor. I think it's a really wonderful way of viewing the meanings of the tarot. And it's a really nice one to just like sit with. I don't know if what I do with it would technically count as pathworking, but it's a really lovely deck. And I've had this really not long at all. I've had this, I think, less than a month. Yeah, it's my most recent one. I got it after I got the Bonefire, which I did a walkthrough on only a couple of weeks ago, I think. So this is really recent. Isn't this a beautiful, beautiful Hierophant? I also really like there's like a neutrality that it provides, because everything that's part of nature is, you know, it's part of nature, it's part of the system that it's in, and there aren't like, the way we have like good and bad cards, I think you can't really apply that to nature, because it's just doing its job. And for the most part, like, there's a road here, there's a few cards with like houses and buildings and stuff on. This is so gorgeous. But for the most part, it's, although everything is obviously affected by humans these days, it's mostly just nature being nature. So I just think it's a really cool perspective. I love a good cloud. I really do. I love a good cloud. I love a good mountain. I love a good mushroom. Like, I was bound to love this deck. Anyways, that is the Naturescapes. Alright, prompt number 4 is for a deck that you let go of or put into purgatory. And for me, this is the deck I let go of, so I don't have anything to show you, but I'll try and pop a picture in. I let go of the Ask the Witch Tarot, which I know I've spoken about in earlier videos, and I used it. It was my daily draw deck for the month of, I want to say, April. And I liked it, but I also didn't get on with it at the same time. And also the cardstock was terrible. And like, I'm not the biggest cardstock snob in the world, but like, I can't deny that the physical experience of using a deck affects how I feel about it. Like, obviously it's going to. It was an odd one. I really like some of the cards. I really like the art style, but overall it just didn't like gel for me. And after pulling a card and reading the guidebook every day for a month, and realizing that it probably wasn't for me, I just decided to let it go a couple of months ago and moved it on. So that is, I actually did a bit of a purge like recently this week and shunted a few decks out of my collection, and I was just on a roll, so I haven't filmed a declutter for you, but that's fine. I got rid of the decks, so that's the main thing. Alright, prompt number 5 is favourite pairing, and I've been having loads of fun pairing decks this year, but I think one of my absolute favourites is this pairing. It's the Tarot del Fuego, which is a lovely little Fournier deck, and these are the very cool backs. I just adore this deck. Let's zoom us in, shall we? Like, it's so vibrant and so cool. And then with the Outgrow Yourself Tarot / Oracle, it's an Oracle deck based on the Thoth. So we have the titles and then a message, and I just think, first of all, these look so good together. Like the blue and the blue, the red and the green, and the red and the green. Like, the colours are just stunning. I really like the vibrancy of this, and then the black background of the Oracle. I like the attitude they both have. Like, they're both a little bit spiky, and I think it really, really works. And it's just a really cool pairing. They look really good together. I love the titles on the Outgrow Yourself in general. Like, in general, this is one of my favourite decks, and this is one of my favourite decks. And I think they also work really well together. So it's really nice. Like, even like the pink and the pink, like the colours echo each other so well without being overwhelming, because this is a very vibrant deck. And you'd think that anything that matched with the vibrancy of this deck would be a bit much, but like, you have everything you need, and the sun. I just love it. It's such a good pairing, and because this is a Thoth-based oracle, so for the minors you just get the title. I'm only pulling. So like, love. Is that the 2 of Cups? I don't think so. But anyway, if you pull a court card or a major, you get the, Knight of Discs here, or the Chariot, or whatever it is. So sometimes you get 2 of the same card come up, and I did have that, and it was a really cool experience. I know that a lot of people are not going to enjoy that, having the same card pop up twice in a reading, but I think it's really cool. So, like the 4 of Cups, disappointment behind every cloud is another cloud. I don't know my Thoth, because as you saw when I pulled my Thoth deck out, because I haven't used it this year, I don't know my Thoth titles very well, so I have no idea what card disappointment is for. I just think that's such a cool visual. Like, we've got this like opening inside a person, and then like visually it's echoed here with this like leopard's head. Anyway, that's my pairing, and I could go through the whole deck because I think it's so cool, but I won't. Alright, prompt number 6 is favourite mod or bag you've made. I haven't made a tarot bag. I bought a load of blank tarot bags, or like blank like gift baggy type things that fit tarot decks with intentions of decorating them. Have not done that, so I just have a handful of decks in like identical off-white canvas little bags. But I also, because this is Chanel's tag and she makes the most amazing crocheted tarot bags for her decks, and it has me seriously considering trying to learn crochet for like the millionth time. I can't do it. I can knit, I cannot also crochet. I swear that there's some like, you can only do one or the other. I know truly only 2 people who can both knit and crochet successfully, and I think they must be, I don't know, some kind of magic there. But anyway, I went for my favourite deck mod. And this feels really simple, but I just love it so much. This is my fairy tarot. And I just edged the edges, funnily enough, in this like rainbow in all different colours to match the fronts of the cards, because the fronts of the cards are also all different colours, and this doesn't correlate with like the suit or the element or anything like that as far as I can tell. I just think it's really, really cool. And like this is such a fun colourful deck, and then I love also having the fun colourful edges, which probably are like not showing up super well on my camera and looking a bit dull and dingy, but I promise you they're really cool. And it's just, it makes me so happy every time I pull this deck out. I'm really loving the like multicolored edges. I've got a few decks that I've done this with now. Like this one has the rainbow edges. My Secret Language of Colors Oracle deck, I've also done rainbow edges. And then I've got the Sea Soul Oracle, which has like 4 different kind of suits almost, and they have different colors on the front of the card, so I've edged them to match, and it's just nice to see like the rainbow edges. I think it's really pretty. Okay, prompt number 7 is what deck do you want for Christmas or as a gift? Literally so many. My wish list is huge, but also I know I'm not getting them. Like I know I'm not getting decks for Christmas, because the people who would buy me a deck, who like don't think that tarot is weird, know that I have more decks than any one human possibly needs, so probably aren't going to get me another one. But to pick a single deck that I would want would be the Cantigee Oracle, because one of the things that I know about it is that the guidebook has this like card a week practice that I think starts with the winter solstice, so like the timing is perfect. But I am 97% sure it will be a self-gift if I do get it this year, because like you could get it at any point in the year and start where you are, but it would be nice to get it and start it at the start. But yeah, that's not happening. Like I know nobody's buying me decks, but that would be the one that like fits nicely. So anyway, prompt number 8 is a deck you'd gift others. And I think there's been a similar prompt in like a different tag that I've done before, and I think I said the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot because it's a beautifully presented deck. Like the cards are gorgeous, they've got all the gilding, and also the guidebook's really nice. It explains the meaning of the card and also the artistic choices in the card. But I've done that before, so instead what I would say is the Fifth Spirit Tarot with the Radical Tarot book. So this is the mass market edition that comes with a little guidebook. Then I would gift it alongside their newest book. This came out in September. I say newest, I think this is currently their only published book, but it's newer than the deck is what I'm getting at. And like, as you can see, I'm partway through like really reading and taking notes on this book. Like I've flipped through it when I've done readings, but I'm like really like getting in on it. I think this is amazing. I just think this is an amazing combo. I think this would make a really good gift because the Fifth Spirit Tarot Beyond the Binaries, it reflects the world kind of as it really is in a lot of ways. Like, we see people who aren't just like white and apparently cis and apparently heteronormative and able-bodied and all that. Like, this is diversity in that sense. But then also reading the book, Charlie Claire Burgess, they really deconstruct the archetypes that are present in a lot of the deck, the binaries that show up, like not just the gender binary. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, binaries is how we kind of view the world, and it's not inherently a bad thing to like sort and categorize things we experience, but it's when it becomes kind of like an unchecked bias, when it's a thing we don't interrogate, that it becomes a problem. And that's like what Charlie Claire Burgess is really deconstructing and getting into in this book, and I just think it's fantastic. I also think it's a really good guidebook. Like, you could use this for any Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, I think, but I think it makes sense to have it alongside the Fifth Spirit. And I also just love the Fifth Spirit anyway for what it is. I think it's a fantastic deck in and of itself. I thought that before I had this book, and I still think that. So yeah, but like, it's real people. It's like different kinds of people and different bodies and like visible top surgery scars, and it's really cool to see, and I really enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. So that would be a combo that I would gift somebody if I was gifting anybody a tarot deck this year. It's also a fairly like modern deck. Like, you saw, there were like people in roller skates and all sorts, and I know a lot of people would vibe more with a modern kind of deck than with something like the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is, let's face it, outdated and not relatable. So, all right, prompt number 9 is a deck you fell in love with, and I'm going with the Tarot of Vampires. Okay, so I only acquired this about halfway through the year, and I only actually started working with it in October. It was my Scorpio season daily pull, pulling a card every day and reading the guidebook entry, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I think the art style is just gorgeous. Like, it's not going to be to everybody's taste, and it's like not, I was not immediately drawn to this because of the art style, you know. Like, I think it's really well done. I think it's really beautiful. I love the kind of like a slightly cheesy, like sexy gothic vibe, and the more I look at it, the more I love it. The guidebook is fantastic, as everybody says. Like, that is not a new opinion. People recommend this deck all the time because of the guidebook, but it's still nice to know that they're right. Like, I knew I would like this deck, but I did not expect to fall so hard for it. And I love how the astrological information is on all of the cards. So you've got the Mars in Aries for the Two of Scepters, which is Wands. Is the Hanged Man a planet? I can see we've got an element. The Hanged Man is a planet. The Hanged Man is Jupiter, right? No, the Hanged Man isn't. I don't know. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's a really fantastic deck, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I want to keep studying it and really get to know it and really dig into the guidebook, because the guidebook is so rich with information, and there's so much, like, you can tell there's so much. See, there's Jupiter for the wheel or fortune. I interrupt myself, but like, you can tell that there's just so much intention in the cards and in the guidebook, and like, this was clearly, it was brought to life to be a tarot deck. Does that make any sense? No, that sounds really obnoxious. It's a movie that feels like a movie. But, you know, it wasn't just somebody fulfilling an art brief, is what I mean. Like, I feel like with the swiftness with which mass market decks are being put out, and like, I know they have lots of different artists, and a lot of them are indie decks that get picked up, but I do see some mass market decks, and I'm like, this just feels a bit flat. This feels like somebody was approached to make 78 pieces of art, whereas this was like very intentionally built, and I just think it's amazing. But anyhow, I've been singing its praises. This is the Tarot of Vampires. Alright, so the penultimate prompt number 10, is which card sums up this year as a whole? And this is going to sound very dramatic, but honestly I think it's the Tower. Like, it's been a bit of a shit show. Like, some of it's been really good, don't get me wrong. I've had some really good parts of this year and some really good, cool stuff has happened. But even the good bits have felt kind of like revolutionary. So maybe the Judgment? Maybe Judgment? Maybe Judgment rather than the Tower. Like, there were things, some within my control, some not within my control. Things got to a point where I've had to like assess and make changes. And that has happened and happened. And then like some things that happened this year felt a bit inevitable. Some things have been really fucking great, don't get me wrong. But it's been big feelings. So I think maybe it is Judgment rather than the Tower. The Tower, it felt like the Tower at times. I for sure had Tower stuff this year, but I think maybe Judgment. Which makes sense, it's that bloody Saturn return. I had 2, because it retrograded. So it's like the exact point of Saturn return has happened going the right direction, and then it retrograded, and so it's gone back over the degree again, and then I'm due another one in February before it moves on and fucks off into a different sign. Yeah, who else is Saturn in Pisces? How's it been going? I'm tired. Anyway, yeah, okay, Judgment for this year. It's been a bit of a wake-up call in ways. It's been a bit of like a having to close things off and make decisions and like figure out what the fuck is going to happen next. But anyway, so it's been a Judgment year, I think, 2023. Okay, and finally, prompt 11 is to pull a card for the new year. And I feel like I should go with something nice because I've just talked about it being a Judgment year and I want a deck to be nice to me. But I think I'm going to pull out the Terra Volatile because, like I said, this was a serious contender for the first prompt on my most used deck this year. I love it. It's a fantastic deck. I talk about it all the time. Oh, that was a bit dodgy. Right. Does anybody else, if you riffle shuffle and then you have something like that where you just have a really crap shuffle, I was like, that was going to be my third riffle and then I was going to be done, but I feel like it's bad luck to finish on a bad shuffle. That wasn't that much better either, but okay. 2024. Hey, I'll take it. I will fucking take it. 10 of Cups, baby. It's gonna be good vibes. Absolutely. I will take it. Thank you. Okay. Wonderful. Happiness. Happily ever after. Yes, please. Okay. I hope that comes true. I hope it is a 10 of Cups year for us all. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, that's the end of the tag, so I'm gonna leave things there. There's nothing else to answer. Thank you again to Chanel for coming up with this tag. It's really, really fun. I hope lots of other people are doing it. I've been really bad at watching YouTube recently, so I've no idea. I feel really behind. My watch later list is like terrifyingly large because I've been really bad at actually watching videos. So I don't know if lots of people have done this tag, but I hope that they either have or are going to because I think it's really fun. So if you've done it, let me know and I'll go and watch. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for sticking with me. What is it I usually say? I don't know. Thanks for spending some time with me. Yes, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Give me a like if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.